Lord be with us as we go through this committee meeting. Just give us knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and with all our visitors here today. And go with us through the rest of this day. And we thank you, Lord, for everything. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Shelley?
Yes, sir. Dick Lane.
Here.
Carly Buzzer.
Here.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Julia Coates. Jody Fisher-Pop. Janelle Fulbright. Present. Tom Garvin. Frankie Hargis. Present. Tommy Ward-Jordan. Lee Kenner. Curtis Snell.
Here.
Janice Taylor. Here. David Thornton.
Present.
Victoria Vasquez. David Walkingston.
Honey.
Caroline Watts. We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'd like to ask for approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to be approved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
On reports, Marshall Lamb.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just have a few announcements and then I'll take your questions. I wanted to thank everyone who attended the Veterans Cherokee Nation Warriors trip send-off. The dinner was a very good start for this trip, and this is something that we're very proud of. And I know the veterans who went really appreciated those who came to the dinner and then those who met them when they come home. And without your support on this, this would never have happened. We are making plans for the Veterans Day holiday, which will be November 10th at 9:30 over at the Veterans Center. And there'll be, after the festivities, the flags and all that, there will be a breakfast served over there. As a reminder to you all, this month we did something a little bit different in LIHEAP. We have started taking wood and propane before we take anything else. And this is to, the wood and propane we're doing first because they're the ones that have to go out and usually find the vendors and get them situated, and we just wanted to get a jump start on that. And so we started that October 7th. We're taking applications Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays only. Now, that doesn't mean if someone walks in on Monday or Friday, we won't take it, but that's the day we have everybody's schedule. Next month, we'll take the electric and the natural gas and then any stragglers. That's all of my announcements.
Hey, Marcia, C&B, they just cut probably 5 bricks of wood up.
Sorry.
C&B, they just cut about 5 bricks of wood up, and they asked me if I knew anyone that needed it. That they'd probably get it to you if you needed it.
C&B?
Yeah.
You have a contact person?
Yeah, it's Terry Crow. I'll get to you offline.
Yeah, give me that information. Thank you.
Yeah.
Harley?
Yeah, and Marcia, I want to thank your department for sponsoring or putting on that veterans trip. It was, I got to go on it, and it's probably one of the best trips I've been on, even though, I probably couldn't walk as well as one of our veterans did, but it was really good. I heard a lot of good comments about it, and I think it's a good thing that you're doing it. And are we going to try to do that again next year?
Well, that's always on funding, but I understood. I kind of hope that's what it is,
I was hoping so too, because I've had several veterans from Delaware County, my district, call me, and they'd ask about it, and I said, well, I thought it was going to be, so hopefully we get it next year also.
The first step that it will be is for, and you as a council will need to get that information and have, the first step will be to get them honored at the council meetings, and then we'll already have that information on them. Okay?
That's
So,
good information. The other question I had is on the LIHEAP program. Are those the same days at the, like the J office too, that you're taking the applications?
we usually schedule it all, when we schedule this, we do it in all the offices at the same time. But it's always depending on what the workers is.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Frankie?
Marcia, I have a family who, they don't like the central heat. I mean, they have a central heat and air unit in their home, but they refuse to use it. And they would like to do wood. Do we have any,
They have central heat.
is there any wood stoves that we have?
LIHEAP is considered a secondary resource to any other heating source that they have.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking about an actual stove. Do we have stoves that?
No, but if it's one that really is needed, and they're LIHEAP eligible, sometimes we can purchase one. Now, remember, we have other resources that can purchase with stoves. It's like, it's through one of the elder programs. So there is if they don't meet LIHEAP, there is another resource there for them.
You on that?
Okay.
See if they might qualify for that.
Yeah, get us the information and a contact number.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else? Report. Thank you. Ron Qualls?
Good afternoon. Before Mr. Pruitt gives his update, I just want to mention one thing about our program on rehab. When we try to construct a home for a family, because of the condition of the home, we can't repair it. Every now and then we run across a family that their site is not buildable, generally because of floodplain problems. And what we do is we buy a site with our funding as close to their home place as possible, and construct a replacement home for them. We have finished one down in Sequoyah County, and so you will be seeing a resolution actually transferring ownership of that site to the family. There's a resolution going through the administrative process right now, so it may make it in time for ENF, not sure, but hopefully it will, and we'll be able to transfer the house. And very quickly, the deal is that the homeowner's not that concerned about it, because the longer it's in our name, the less tax they have to pay on it. So they're not pushing us, but we want to get it transferred to them. I've asked Mr. Thornton if he would be a sponsor of that, and if there's others, we'll list you as a sponsor of the resolution also. Unless there's other questions for me, I'll turn it over to Mr. Pruitt, and he'll do his monthly report on the rehab program.
Harley?
Ron, when we buy properties for these families, is that part of the overall cost of
Yes.
rehabbing that home? So it's included?
Yes, it will.
When somebody owes on a property, Ron, and you have figured there may be a possible replacement, how does that work, or does it, or can it?
It would depend on the amount that they owe. If they've got the property paid down, and many times we can do the rehab program and maintain and fix the house and do substantial repairs to it, but the financial institution will always require us to be in second position, meaning if there is a foreclosure, the chances of us getting any substantial amount of money back is slim. But yeah, we do it. We help them out.
I have a follow-up question, not on rehab, Ron, but I know we're doing a water line to the town of Concord and also to the town of Oaks. Do we know how much monthly bills are going to be, what's going to cost to get on the road water?
You know,
What I'm concerned about is how much it's going to cost those people.
yeah. I'll have to get with Billy to see, and I don't know if he's here, but I don't know if he's here.
Chris Sanders.
We can get that amount to you early in the
Okay, well, what I'm concerned about is how much you're going to have to be paying on Oaks. Other than a low-cost water bill for people, and if they bill $40 or $50 a month, it's probably going to be same cost. I'd be interested to see what it's going to cost.
Is that something that'll be worked out in the next month?
As far as the town of Concord is concerned, I think they've already got some idea about what they're going to be paying. Of course, the regional water authority that's kind of in the planning stage right now is going to probably impact that. But
And I don't know if we'd have any say in what those prices are going to be or not. I mean, we're going to be turning it over to a rural water or regional district. It's going to be kind of up to them, but I know if water bill is only $40 a month, we're going to hear about it, so just want to compare it. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
I wasn't going to run. I was going to trot.
Good afternoon. All I really have is we currently have 77 jobs out for bid. We have 106 under contract right now with 20 different contractors. We have 16 work orders for our force account, and we actually completed 457 with last year's funding. I think the report says 441, but it should say 457. That's all I have.
David, I want to say thank you for all the work you did on this situation in District 4. It turned out real good. It was quite a struggle, but with your help and others, it turned out excellent. Thanks a million. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Arlie.
David, now that you've got 106 out on contract?
Under contract right now.
Under contract. How
Yeah.
many applications does this leave you on file to do?
I didn't bring that information with me, Harley, but I would say there's well over 100 in processing.
And are you going to go ahead and bid those out this fiscal year?
Yes, sir. Every application, approved application, after we go through the process of getting the estimate and stuff, we put them all out for bid, unless it's a plumbing leak that our plumbers can run out and fix right quick. Then we try to bid everything first, and if it doesn't bid, then we assign it to force account.
Yeah, I take it our friend there at Grove, is he taking care of it now?
Grove.
Has the roof problem?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I put it out for bid, and I think the bids are due back today
Okay.
for the
Are
replacement.
you keeping him updated on?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Garrett
Wilson.
Thank you. You did say me, correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's what
I looked and you were pointing in a different direction. I got confused. Is there something we can do to assist in getting these jobs bid? Can you explain? I mean, I don't think the Terra law doesn't prevent you from using non-Terra vendors. I know we want to use Terra vendors, I'm not saying that at all. I think everyone's goal at the table is to use Terra vendors. But I know there seems, I would say that it's not improper for me to characterize it, there's frustration because we're not getting stuff bid and therefore the department can't move, it's not being bid. How can we help? Is there something we need to do as a body?
We have several that's listed on the website right now that have been bid 3, 4, 5 times. We have awarded to non-Terrell vendors. They're required to bid twice. And then Mr. Qualls has to approve that too for us to award. Oh, we just need more contractors.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, David.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Mr. Cooper.
Good afternoon. I think you have my report. I would like to say that a couple of things. You'll notice that there's a section in there that lists out all of our offices. We have now either opened up or will have shortly opened up offices in every one of your areas. That's convenient for your staff. And most of them are offices where we already had staff at, but they may not have been staffed there every day. But now those offices are going to be staffed every day. And that would include places like Bartlesville, Nowata, Pryor, Locust Grove, Catoosa, Westville, Warner, Mr. Garvin, Westville over in your area. Some places that hadn't. And our goal with that is to make sure that if folks need assistance, that we're available to assist them. And that's what we want to do. And then also work with folks like Ron's group over at Rehab or somewhere where if someone comes in and needs an application or something, we can at least get them that application. In some instances, we may not be able to answer their questions directly, but we can get them in contact with the right folks and we can help them, we can assist them in filling out the application or doing whatever needs to be done. So that's what our goal is to make sure that we have folks in all of those offices on a regular daily basis. So I think that will be helpful. One of the other things that I want to be sure to report is for the first time since we have reinstituted the college housing program, I am proud to say that this semester, we are assisting the most students that we've been able to assist since we reinstituted that program. 157 students are getting assistance with housing in order for them to attend college. And to me, I think that's very important. It's been a long road. We actually had 125 slots available, but we did have funding, and I approved the extra amount to make sure that we had the money there. But we actually overhoused on that particular program, and that's one program that I'm glad that we could overhouse in. So 157 students are going to receive college housing assistance this semester. And we actually had a lot more than that applied, but those are, it is an AHOSTA program, so families do have to be income eligible. So we're glad that we're able to assist those. Other than that, I think that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those as always.
Harley?
Gary, do you know what the total amount of that 157 were?
What the?
Total amount of dollars that was
It's $1,000 a semester.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it goes directly to either their landlord or to the college or whatever. It's only used for housing cost. But what that means is they don't have to use that $1,000 that maybe if they got a scholarship or if they got the higher ed scholarship, then they don't have to use, they have $1,000 more on that scholarship, basically, because we're paying for their housing. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Gary,
Yes.
the years that we were without the housing authority, we were doing rehab, were there not any students receiving dorm assistance?
No. That program stopped in, I couldn't tell you the exact year. Dr. Morton could probably answer that a little bit better for you, but he and I worked really hard a couple of years ago to get this program started back. All the money was taken out of the college housing program and basically put towards the Promise Scholars program. But not everyone who wanted to go to school either went to Northeastern or qualified for that program. And we don't have any limitation on where they go to school at. We will help them anywhere. They do have to have lived, been residents of the 14-county area. Did have to live within jurisdiction. And I can tell you that several years ago, whenever we first started that program, it was probably 12 years ago or so, we had students who actually, whenever that program originally started, and I helped with starting that program originally, we had a couple of students who went to places like Stanford, Dartmouth, Harvard, and some other places. So we're hoping that we can get it back around to being able to, we don't care where, we want to be able to help kids go to school wherever they want to go. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And it's just $1,000 a semester, but you know as well as I do.
Yeah.
$1,000 a semester helps out a whole lot for a college kid.
Couple $100 a month.
Yeah.
I think that, Kara, did you raise your hand?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure, was I next or was it Harley?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's 93 new homes completed since October 2011, and there's a wait list of 1,995? Is that correct?
I'm sorry now?
There's 93 completed since October 2011.
I'm not sure where the October 2011 comes into play at.
This is total since program inception.
The program didn't start we didn't start taking applications for the program until April of 2012.
This term of office for our new administration is 93 completed total.
Under the program to date, through the end of August, there was 93.
There's 1,095 people waiting for new homes to be constructed. Is that correct? Or is it the 2008 waiting for new home construction?
I believe that there's 2008, but of those 2008, only 541 have land. So only 27% of those families actually either claim to have land, have a family member have land that they're going to donate for construction, or something along those lines. The remaining 73% do not have land.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gary, I'll just make one comment. I've seen a lot of houses go up north, and I slide that truck to a stop and jump out and take a picture of every one of them. We appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we do have quite a few houses under construction right now. I believe we have somewhere around 200 and a little over 200 under construction at some phase of construction right now, and a lot of those are up there in your area. So you can see them going up every day.
I'm wearing out my brakes.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. I'll buy you some new brakes if I need to.
Harley?
You answered part of my question, Gary, but I'm just looking at Delaware County. That's
Yeah.
where I'm from. We have 120 that without land. What are we doing with those 120 people? Are we trying to buy them land, or?
Well, whenever the program was first,
Yeah, I know. It's land.
you were given a preference. that's kind of the next road we're trying to head down, and we've got to figure out what to do with those folks. It's.
Are we looking at land that we purchased? I know we purchased a big parcel of land over the call for it, but
Yeah.
people don't want to live there or something.
Well, I think that's part of it. I think that you'd probably also agree with me that some of that land is probably not best suited for housing. And maybe we need to look at either exchanging that land and swapping it out maybe with some land that the tribe owns elsewhere or something. I think we have a couple of options that we can look at, and I think as soon as we can get all of those families who have land, all of them processed and everything caught up there, I think we'll be able to move on to the next phase.
So what you're saying, the people that don't have land, they're on hold right now until you buy land or until they can come up?
Yeah, and a lot of them are actively looking for land, are looking for family members who have land, or they may be trying to get some land issues cleared up so they can get marketable title to land. Maybe their family owns land, but it was actually Granny's before Granny passed away. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else?
We have mostly worked through the applications of people with land.
Yes, we have.
And the ones that have been sidetracked were people that needed work on their title. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Everybody else is either in the hopper or we're getting ready to start something on their land.
Yes. As a matter of fact, if someone was to come in today and fill out an application and they said that they had land, they would get that preference. We'd begin processing their application immediately because we're to that step.
So those waiting are basically without land at this point.
That's right.
And I think this is maybe where we as a body could help them in our individual districts by, if we hear about land that might be available, we need to let Mr. Cooper know that.
Reasonable.
Well, we can't just buy it for any price, but if it was a reasonable price and it was suitable for building, we need to pass that information along to the housing authority.
Yeah.
Probably one of the things about this program that I guess if I didn't like anything, I love this program, but if there was one thing I didn't like about the program, it was signing up those without land and giving them the false expectation that that's all they need to do was come in the door, sign
Fill out a piece
that
of
they
paper.
wanted a house, and like a miracle, somebody was going to buy them land and put a house on it, because if they can't find the land, it's equally as hard for us to find the land, if not harder.
Yes, and it is.
Because when they see us coming, the reasonable price seems to go out the window.
Yeah.
If we have people that are actively looking, and if we could assist them in finding a piece of land for themselves, I take it that we would try to do that. Because it will probably come at a more reasonable price than us trying to buy it ourselves.
We would. And
Housing Authority's point of view.
And we have a lot of folks who, we have some folks who, after we get to visiting, they actually want to go through the mortgage assistance program maybe, or they want to go through another program. Maybe they want to build, we have some folks who actually want to build, a custom home, want to do their own type of stuff.
And that's another area where this body, along with the present administration, is to be commended, because we've added $10,000 to that program, so it now totals $25,000.
Yeah.
A lot better than the $15,000 that it was coming in 3 years ago. We have a whole lot of things. We still have the rural rental program. We still have the...
We do. As a matter of fact, we started...
Title VI.
We only have 200 and some odd on Title VI, but we do get, houses back from time to time, and whenever we do, we try to fill those. For instance, over in Adair County, we opened up the waiting list today for the rural rental because we had exhausted it. We... In some counties, for instance, in Cherokee County, I think the last home we got back for rural rental was probably in March or April of this year, which is good. I mean, that's excellent that we don't, because either someone's had to give us a home back or we've had to take it back. And we don't want to do that. But, you know, sometimes we get several homes back a year per county, and sometimes we may only get one or very few back. And that's what we like it whenever we do that.
But back to the 541 that have applied
Yes.
with land, we've either got them in the pipeline.
Absolutely.
Or they got sidetracked by marketability problems.
That's the biggest
Houses
issue.
that have been built.
Yep. Or they're in the process of being built right now.
And if they come in the door tomorrow and they've got a piece of land and it's marketable and it's paid for,
We're ready to go.
we can move right into to putting them in the pipeline.
Yep.
And I think that's the thing that we need to remember, and if they're without land, we got to help a little bit. Let's help the
And I've actually-
authority find some of that land.
Yeah, and I've actually had some folks who went out and you know, either bought their own land or found land that either they bought themselves or, you know, a family member or something's bought for them so they could get over on that,
And-
get that preference.
And just an added thing that people need to think about, if we have to find the land, we're probably buying bigger pieces of land, so it's going to be a subdivision type setting. It won't be live out here on an individual acre. We can't afford to buy an individual acre. You can buy 40 acres for what you can buy an acre for now.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go to the bigger pieces of land, and it's going to have to be, for lack of a better word, cluster site situation, and a lot of people didn't like that before. We can make it a little better now.
Yeah, and we try.
There's the possibility we can maybe do a little infrastructure. We can do a little sodding that we weren't able to do before under the old mutual help program. There are things that we can do to make it more livable,
Make it more
possibly the
attractive.
establishment of a small park at times. But it's still having to live with close proximity to other people. And folks sometimes don't want to do that.
No.
But the days of buying 1 acre at a reasonable price are gone.
Yeah, it's almost
They're just
few and far
just not
between.
available anymore.
No, they're not. And I wish they were, but they're almost impossible to find.
Thank you.
Gary, once the application is submitted, you've got the ones that are approved, that have land, and you've got your other category over here. Do we put approved contingent on land, or are we just not approving?
The ones who have land?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one we have
Yeah.
land, we approve. About the ones that fill out and don't have land, do we say approved contingent on land?
Well, we know that no, not necessarily, but that's basically what it is. We don't actually come out and say that.
Okay.
But for instance, if I have someone who doesn't have land, or who applied who didn't have land, but today they call me up, and I've had that happen several times, call me up and say, or call my staff up and say, I've had people call me up or see me out somewhere and say, hey, I found me some land. Hey, my dad actually did have some land and I think I can get it, or, you know, someone had land. But anyway, then they go back right into that category, and we basically changed their preference from someone who doesn't have land to someone who does. And so now they're immediately processed for approval. Because we don't actually determine their final eligibility until they're ready to get a house.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
Frankie?
Gary, you said you opened the application process for those repoed homes. Do they just contact the housing authority at Stillwell or for the application?
Yeah, I think that, I don't remember for sure, but I think the press release went out where there was taking 25 applications.
So they just contact
Starting
Stillwell?
today.
The application is in Stillwell, though?
Yes.
They can get it there?
Yeah.
Is it online by chance?
Yes, but we have to we'll accept the first 25 completed applications. And I'm going to guess for Adair County, if we opened up the waiting list at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, we may have already received 25 completed ones. And I thought that that copy of that press release got out to you all, but if it didn't, I apologize. I really do, because I thought it did on that notice. And we tried to make sure We send out a press release, communications sends out, the notices for us, and we also send out a notice to everyone on the waiting list for one of our other programs in the county to let them know. And also put the income guidelines in there, because that is an income-assisted program. Says, hey, if you're eligible. And here's what the income guidelines are, and we will take applications on this day.
Thank you.
Mr. Garvin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Offhand, Gary, do you know the income guidelines for a family of 3 to get a new house?
To get a new one,
Yes.
any family, they have to make a minimum of $15,000 a year, because those payments are $350. Minimum of $15,000.
Income?
Yes.
What's the maximum?
There is no maximum on the new housing program. Now, on any of the other programs that we offer, rental assistance or things like that, there are income guidelines. But on the new housing, the new construction program, there is no maximum income.
What's involved on new home? You have to apply, of course. What else?
Well, if you have land, you get a preference or a priority, meaning that we start processing your application immediately. We check to see if you have a buildable site there. If there's a way into the property, if there's access to the property, if there's a way to get utilities to the property.
So a family of 3 making $75,000 would qualify. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
If they want, our home. And if they don't want our home, but they'd like something else, we can point them in the right direction. There are some other programs out there where they could build, a little bit bigger home or a more custom type home.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. If they find, say, an acre, half, whatever, and it's $20,000, do you roll that into the new loan, or? Okay.
Currently, no. What? No.
I got you. You already been there and done that? Okay. Thank you, Gary.
You're welcome.
Chief's ahead of me over here. I guess that's it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
If y'all think of anything else, just let me know. You know.
Okay. Michael Lynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon. I think you have our report in your packet for the month, but I do want to talk about a few projects, the 3 projects we've got actively under construction. Wycliffe Creek Bridge in just outside of Salina, near the Adair County line in Mayes County, is currently under construction. Just beyond that into Delaware County, we've got 4 bridge projects on what we call the J. Kenwood bridges. Those are all being constructed concurrently. And then lastly, we've got the Sequoia High School intersection just up the road here. All of the projects are progressing nicely. The weather has held them up a little bit here in the past recent week or two. The Sequoia High School project we hope to have wrapped up by the end of the month here of October. We're still waiting on traffic signal poles to come in, and once they're in, they're ready to be set. There's some striping, sodding, and then there's just some miscellaneous cleanup still yet to be done up there. But we hope to have that wrapped up by the end of October. We're currently moving utilities, more specifically a water line on the 10 Killer School Road project right now, and then lastly we're acquiring right-of-way on the Northeast Fort Gibson project located between Muskogee and Cherokee County, across this county line, but county lines. But anyhow, we're acquiring right-of-way on that, and there's a lot of parcels on there I think I've mentioned in the past, and they've got roughly 30% of them acquired to date. So. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'd be open to any questions.
Stick.
On the 10 Killer Road, any more on the gas line?
I talked to Chris a little bit about it before I come up here, and I think it's between the gas authority and the contractor. Is that a correct statement, Chris? Yes. Right now, I think they're kind of working out some costs between the two of them. So.
Does it look positive?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I think they've I don't know for sure, Councilor Walking Stick, but by tomorrow night, the Water District meeting's tomorrow night, and I'll have a positive answer.
Okay.
But last I heard, I think they were just going to agree upon a price.
Really? Good. Good deal. I appreciate you guys following up on that.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Michael, it was brought up in a natural resources meeting this morning about trying to get something done with that road that goes in front of the Bull Hall Natural Resources shop. That's where we had the buffaloes on there. And I think probably the committee was looking at improving that road. And we talked a little bit about it, but since we moved buffalo in there, could you take a look at that particular road and see if we can get it back on the priority and see about what could happen with that road, whether we could use federal funds on it? And what we accounts that for is economic development, but the buffalo being in there, economic development, those things like that. And I know before it didn't have a hunt priority because of those things. I think that's kind of what we had talked about this morning at the natural resources meeting. So can you give us a little more detail of how that's going to happen or how it could happen?
Yes, we just updated our tip. In fact, just this past week, we got approval from Federal Highway Administration on our most recent tip update. As you know, Councilor, that we go through that annually to semi-annually. Kind of depends on funding levels and things of that nature. So we did just receive an updated tip. But as far as the road that you're referring to, there has been some developments in the area, like the buffalo going in, and that is could be considered an economic development up in that area, which does have a factor, is a factor in our rating process. So we need to, during the next tip update, we need to take a look at that road as far as and make sure that it's being accounted for properly as far as the economic development goes, and the bison that are located on that adjacent property. But you bet we can take a look at it. Another thing that road's got going for it is that we just improved to an Oaks Bull Hollow road, just what I would say south and east of that road you're referring to. So, we've made some improvements in the area. That road ties into. I want to get with you if I can after the meeting and get a more specific location of the roads you're referring to, but because I'm not 100% sure where the property is that the buffalo are on, but we need to determine that exact alignment if we can, and then we'll take a look at it and give you a better idea.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All done? Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Good report. Let's see. Anna Knight? Different Anna.
Well, I'm not Anna, but I can give our report. You have a copy of our report, and there are just a couple of things I wanted to mention. Because of the way the deadlines fall, we're not able to give you a year-end report on housing, so just wanted to update some of the numbers. We provided mortgage assistance to 169 families during the last fiscal year. It's a little over $3 million. And on the consumer loans, we did 893 consumer loans totaling $968,000. So, those are kind of the important numbers right off the bat. And if you have any questions about our report, I'd be happy to answer them.
Lee?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Shay. Good report. I did have a question on number one. Could you walk us through the denial process? Because I noticed that's greater than the approval.
Oh, well, yeah. So typically when a person is going to be denied, there are a list of reasons. They're either over income, they've owned a home before, they have received a home from the Housing Authority or the Cherokee Nation previously, or they have a violent criminal history. We don't have as many people being denied for criminal histories anymore because those restrictions have been somewhat lessened in the last couple of years. If someone does have a violent criminal history, then we contact them by phone, give them the opportunity to explain the situation, let us know what what changes have been made in their life. Have they complied with, any court-ordered counseling or community service or whatever the case may be. If they're over income, there really is no appeal. There's really no explanation. It's just you either meet the income guideline or you don't. Home ownership, being a first-time homeowner, if they've owned a home in the previous 3 years, that makes them ineligible for the mortgage assistance program. Again, there are a couple of exceptions, and that's pretty much just if you've been added to someone's deed as a beneficiary. So if that person passes away, maybe your mom has added you to their deed in case she passes away, then she wants the home to be directly given to you. And then if someone has been a victim of domestic violence, but it must be documented domestic violence. So by documented, we mean a statement from a pastor, a shelter, a police report, a hospital report, some sort of documented domestic violence situation, then those exceptions are made for first-time homeowners. But if someone's going to be denied, we typically pick up the phone and call them and find out what's happened, what's going on, try to get some sort of explanation. We don't want to deny people, obviously. We want to serve as many people as possible, so we do what we can to help people become eligible.
Very good. And I guess, is there anything that we can do to help people, to educate people on even applying so they won't be turned down if they would know this ahead of time?
Since we've taken over the mortgage assistance program, we've kind of taken a more hands-on approach with the application process. And so typically when someone comes in to pick up an application, we try to get them to stay in our office and help them fill out the application. Sometimes people are denied for simply failure to respond, so maybe they didn't fill out the application completely. We make several attempts to try to get in touch with them to get the information that's needed. After about 30 days, if there's no response, then we make them ineligible. But like I said, since May, when we took over processing applications, we've really taken a more hands-on approach to getting complete applications filled out. And so I think that as we finish working through a lot of some of these older applications, you'll see that denial rate go down, because the other thing we're trying to do is screening them, because it's a pretty thick application, and we don't want people to feel like they've wasted their time filling out an application if we can tell right off the bat that they're not going to be eligible.
You're doing a good job. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Good report.
Thank you.
Okay, for old business, Kara?
Mr. Chairman, may I table it for one more month? I've
Yes.
still got more research to do.
Okay. New business, Tina?
Yes, we have Randy here to give us a presentation that we ask for each year on our Angel Tree project. So I'm going to turn it over to Randy.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I hope you all are doing well this afternoon. I really wanted to go quickly through our report for last year and also tell you what's going on this year for the Angel Project. First off, it is no longer called the Angel Tree, and you can ask about that. 2013, we had 2,228 children were served. Those who took Angels were CMB employees. They took 650. Hastings Hospital took 150. Cherokee Nation employees took 380, and Tribal Council provided for 34. There was approximately 1,048 Angels left, and they were provided through donated gift cards from Cherokee Nation employees, proceeds from fundraisers conducted by Hastings Hospitals, donations from CMB and Tribal Council, and various donations from Cherokee people throughout the United States. We spent about an average on those children that were not picked. We spent on an average of $40 per child at Walmart. The next page you will see in your own area of what happened in your area for how many children that we provided for last year. Also, in your packet that was handed out to you, you have your this year's flyer for the application sites. We have 2 new sites that's going to be happening this year. We have one in Collinsville. The Victory Community organization there, they wanted to volunteer for that, and one of our workers is also a member, so she has taken that on. So there's going to be a new site there. And there is also a new site in Choteau, Oklahoma this year as well. Also, you should see a news release this week. Communications will be doing a press release for us to make sure everybody knows that the application process is coming up. Okay. some of the things that we definitely need, as you can see from last year, it's going down every year in the sense of we're now spending on an average of $40 per child, where it used to be $50 per child. And honestly, $40 per child at Walmart, tax-free, will buy their needs, basically. And then we have to use their wants through fillers that people have donated. And we do not have a lot of donations this year to start up with, because we used most of them, if not almost all of them, last year. So some things that would be really helpful is organization of a clothing or a toy drive for any age child. Preteens and teenagers are one of the hardest ones that people to provide for. So here's some ideas. We have gift sets. We ask for gift sets that you see at Walmart during Christmas time. Scarves, hats, gloves, card games, body spray, makeup like lip gloss and mascara, throws, or blankets. You can also volunteer by taking applications in your area. I still have a few slots available here in Tahlequah. And we do have people from Northeastern doing their community hours that are going to be able to volunteer here and also in their other areas as well. Also, by shopping, we don't shop for the 1,048 by ourselves. There's only a few of us, so absolutely we need all people to be able to help us. And I looked at it this morning, and I thought if the tribal council decided to do a shopping spree, we could help out with that, and you could do 5 angels in one setting of 3 to 4 hours. We could probably take care of 100 angels, so that would help out. So you can do anything like that. Get a group of friends together, and we can also meet you at a Walmart location with a PO and help you through that process. Also, by helping in our office, we do have one in Tahlequah, and those sites will also be delivering. Only on an extreme cases do we deliver, but sometimes we do. I had to deliver a couple of them last year, so that would be helpful. Making phone calls, organizing gifts, and just helping people pick up their gifts as well. And then also become an advocate for our community. One thing that is really happening is our ratio of people coming in and making an application versus the people who are coming in and picking an angel off the tree or donating, it's not meeting up as much as it used to. And so we really need to get the word out that there's a way to donate, there's a way to shop, there's a way to just pick an angel off of the tree, and we can help out that way. Any questions?
How are making sure that, Cherokee Nation, we're a big operation here. Now, how do we control other departments that want to put up an angel tree?
What do you mean?
I mean, who coordinates all this? I mean, who's to say that someone in another department's not doing an angel tree?
Okay.
Does everything have to be coordinated through you?
In that sense, we try to do that as much as possible, because honestly, everybody comes here to make an application. Cherokee Nation Angel Project, Angel Tree, has become a big brother tree to a lot of little trees. And so a lot of them, what they'll do is that we coordinate with them. And so, for an example, Cherokee County, they have their tree. We will coordinate with them in the sense of making sure what we call tree hoppers, so they won't be double dipping, so going onto one tree and off to another tree. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we try to provide for as many as possible, and if we have one tree that is providing for so many, and we have our tree that's providing, if we're having double people who are getting gifts from both trees, then somebody's going to be left out.
Julia?
Is there, I'm not seeing it, is there a date, a deadline by which you want all of this to be back in? Because I know there are a lot of at-large satellite organizations that...
Yes.
And I'd like to...
Get that out there? Yeah, that deadline, we want everything, when we are completely done with the Angel Tree, will be December 19th, which will be that Friday. And then that's when we want to be done.
So you want to be wrapped and everything?
We want to be wrapped up and everything.
You want things to be into you, like what, a week before that?
About a couple weeks before, because that week, our deadline, our absolute deadline for everybody getting things in, because the week of the 19th is when we have to make sure everything's getting out, getting shopped, whatever is needed left. So we'll need at least by the 12th is when we'll probably have our deadline of the 12th of getting everything back in.
So if I tell them they need to get things to you by the 5th?
Yes, that would be great.
Thank you.
Frankie?
I just want to say, I have volunteered several times, and I never get a call. I leave my number. They never call me for wrapping, for shopping, for any of it. So you can put me down, and
okay.
They'll call me this year. I don't know.
Where do you live?
Stillwell.
In Stillwell? Yeah, our Stillwell site is actually, they're doing their application site. Let me see here.
Frank, if they don't, I'll call you.
October 28th and the 30th is when they're taking applications, and it's going to be at the ICW office. Are you familiar where that is? Okay. And her name is Patricia Patton, and she is the coordinator for the Stillwell area. You also on the report have my business card as well, so you'll be able to get a hold of me.
Who's Cherokee County?
Me.
The walking stick down.
Thanks.
I'm not a good rapper.
Well, we don't wrap anymore. There's so many that, and honestly, parents want to wrap their own gifts. So another thing that can also come through is wrapping paper. They really want to wrap their own gifts, but they may or may not have wrapping paper. So if you have a wrapping paper drive, that would be great. One of the things that I would like to say is thank you, because for you as the council members last year when people were taking applications, we had some sites that you provided snacks, you provided breakfast, you brought in lunch. We're not really able to leave for lunch, so that was really helpful for us who were taking the applications that year.
That was good making Christmas cookies.
Good deal.
Dinah?
I would like to propose as a body, it's been some time since we have increased we give to 17 boys and 17 girls. I would like to propose as a body that we double that this year, because it's been 34 for a number of years. And Jody Reese has advised me that we can find that in our budget. We spend approximately $100 on each child. So that would be an additional $3,400. And I would like to propose that, and Jack, I want to ask you, do we need to do this in the form of a budget mod, or can we just do this from our body, or?
From our bodies.
Okay. I would like to propose that if anybody would be willing to second that.
I'll second.
And that would move us to 68, which would be 34 girls and 34 boys.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. You're not even going to say that. No, you're not. I'm not.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and do the 68 for this year.
Yes, ma'am.
Count on our girls to do the shopping and getting them ready and everything.
Yes, ma'am. That'd be great. One of the things that would like to be a little bit different, instead of doing 34 and 34 boys and girls, is honestly to keep them as families, sibling groups together. That way it can be even. We never take away from one angel, but when we have one angel who's coming in at $100 and then we have another angel in who's coming in at half, we want to kind of keep it as even as possible.
Why don't you get with Gail and Shelley about that?
All right.
We kind of let them take care of that.
All right. Thank you.
Unless some of y'all want to go and do the shopping. I can barely get my shopping done.
What about an application? Can we have an application from them out?
We prefer that people come in because we are looking at the things, proof of address, proof of income, all of those things. We fill them out with them.
Do you have any more of these packets
I do.
with you?
Yes, I do, sir.
Maybe hand them out or just set them up here and we'll
Yeah, where do you want me to set them?
just right there on that desk.
Sure.
Any other questions?
I think.
Who did the drawing, by the way?
Michael Mounts in 2003. He did that back then, and it's been with us ever since.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
The pharmacist.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you. Any announcements? No announcements? Next meeting is Thursday, November 13th at 2:30 PM. I'll take a
Make a motion to adjourn.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm just kidding, make it 10.
We will.
No, I just thought it out there.